homophobia, this this default Latina, resting Latina face. You put a caption that she really is funny. Spanking Machine brought to you by. I am surprisingly well because I forget all the bad things that are happening in this world. This is how Spanking Machine started. I wind up thinking about the piece, which is really goes from my childhood in the 60s to 2018. I think about the writing. I go like deep down into the bunker, not like Trump's bunker. I just go in a little bit, to check around. I am okay now. But once I watch the news or once I see my Twitter feed, I'll be depressed again. Now, to be queer, to be a lesbian, and to be a person of color, it feels a lot like when I first came out in the 70s, because being queer was an act of rebellion, whereas we were just, about a year ago, maybe just a few months ago, those of us who were not people of color, who were not attuned, who were suddenly buying all this mainstream, just seduction. We're just thinking, this is what our movement is about, to get married, to have a little house. But when I first came out, no, it was about that you were in danger, girl. And so the connection between racism, between homophobia, between misogyny, between class struggle, that was actually something that we all understood way back then, because we were not, it was not, Stonewall was a little bit before my time, but still it was a rebellion by queer people of color and poor people and working class people. And so now I feel that we are coming full circle, and we understand about Black trans lives, and we understand about the poor in the queer community, and all of us who've sort of been ignored by this mainstream, this affluent gay community. We're starting to say, we're going to be visible, we're going to have agency now, and you're going to just zip it and listen. I mean, just as a Latina, I'm amazed, and I think it's been said that that Black people have shown an enormous amount of patience, that it has taken this long for the world, for this country to understand what has been going on in the shadows, and so for the theater community, it is, it has been largely white cis run. This is going to be theater the way it's supposed to be, that's going to tell everybody's story, and I'm excited about that. I mean, we have been asking for crumbs over the last few years, and there's just a tokenism that is theater as we know it. But now again, the leadership is going to change, and I am quite excited about that. And if I could just thank the man who actually made me do this show, is a Black playwright from Syracuse Stage, Kyle E. Bass. And his mission was to bring other voices into this theater festival that he did. And he found me, and he inspired me to write my 13th solo show. So the leadership of theaters just has to change visibly in greater numbers. And, the people who are in charge now need to step down and serve the message. It's again a solo play that I never intended to write to it, and I wanted to write for two actors. I wanted to try writing for television. I'm also a stand-up comedian, and I sort of neglected that. So I thought, maybe I should try to write some more jokes and do that. Because, 12 one-person shows that are basically autobiographical. It's like, what else am I going to talk about? Everyone knows everything about me. I don't even have anything to tell a date. I could just say, just Google me. So then I got this email from this guy who, I'm in my 60s, and I knew him in in Catholic school. I went to Catholic school in Washington Heights in Manhattan, just for a few years, just, as I say, long enough to destroy my self-esteem. And all the kids were kids. They were brown and black kids, and all the nuns were Irish and white and racist. And so it was really years of terror being in Catholic school, and it made me be a good student because I was so afraid of getting punished and beat. They would beat us, and they would threaten us with something called the spanking machine. So I know that we're going to have some people from the kink community who are going to buy tickets, and I have a little of that for them. But really, it does relate to fear. So this is a show about the things that the fear. This is a show about the fear that controls us, how we adjust, and how we fight fear. It's a comedy that has dark tones. It's a comedy that also talks about assault. It's a comedy that talks about vampires. And it's sort of hung around this friendship that I lost and then tried to rekindle 40 years later. Is fear and laughs. I don't have, technique. I just have my animal instinct, when I live stream and when I perform live. So I feel that I'm going to be using the same muscles that I do for an audience, and yet live streaming is very intimate. And Adrian told me this, because when I first started live streaming, I would talk as if there was an audience. I just have to talk to one person. I actually have social anxiety, so I can just do really one person at a time. At Zoom meetings, I hang out in the corner box. Back to the question, what is this going to be like for the audience? Well, they're going to see a performance that is going to mix me playing pretty much right here where I am. I may change locations and go over to the couch back there, but I'm going to have the same engagement that I would, and even more, because I know how important and valuable people's time is. I know how people are I don't want to look at a screen anymore, but I want to make this be real and alive, and I want to just reach through that camera to people. For one meal. But sometimes I rub it and I make a wish, and I wish that all the theaters in America will eventually change the leadership to people of color. I wish maybe, I do think it does have magic powers.